Welcome to Parent Squad. As parents, we want to help our children succeed in all areas of their lives. And studies show much of the success comes from supportive adults, connection, and feeling safe. So how can we help achieve that for our kids? Indiana Youth Institute President and CEO Tami Silverman is here to talk more about this very important question. And Tami, for so long, the conversations on youth mental health have focused on the challenges like rising anxiety, loneliness, stress, and you say it's important for us to also focus on what helps young people thrive, really shifting the focus there.
100%, you're right. And not to say, of course, there's going to be circumstances and conditions where treatment is the most appropriate response. At the same time that there's clinical care and responsiveness, we can move upstream a little bit and talk about what can we do? What are some of those small daily practices that we can do that can build those protective factors in our kids that lead to strong mental health?
Yes, see, now I feel like I'm in therapy because what you're saying for our children is what we need to be practicing and exhibiting and leading with as adults. So you say things like strong relationships, stable environments, supportive communities should not be considered extras but essentials.
They are. They're the building blocks. And again, you hit the nail right on the head that these are things we all need, right? So having a strong network, having a stable economy, having a group of friends you can count on, all of those things are really important for us as adults, and we can relate to that. But think about what that does for the stability of a young person and the stress that they may not feel when those things are in place.
Yeah, absolutely. And just having that supportive adult that's there can really be a game changer. I mean, it can take you from feeling safer or having a safe place to express emotions, or really just kind of guiding you and leading you along your your developmental years.
You're 100% right. And we say they need a network, right? So it can start, we hope, with the family unit, but then it expands out. So it can include coaches, scouting leaders, neighbors, extended family members, your friends. It can include, teachers. Most often when kids, they're school age and you ask them about who, what adults are important in your life, what adults have really been there for you. Often it includes faith leaders and educators and all of those folks. So that network of adults who are leaning in and really getting to know a child and caring about them can make a big difference, not only in their life, but particularly in their mental health.
You and I have talked about that before, how important the network is and establishing at such a young age. I'm a mother of a 2-year-old right now, and I feel like that's some of the best parenting advice I've gotten so far, is that you want these relationships like that established early on so that when they do get to age 13, 14, 15, 16, the network is there to support your parenting, and that you're not just bringing in random people that don't even really have a relationship. Because from what I hear, they stop listening to you at a certain age. Was that your experience?
It was my experience. And sometimes you can say, they need to hear the same thing from multiple sources. So if they hear it from you as mom, but they also hear it from their teacher, they also hear it from their coach. Maybe there's a child who's a little bit late or last minute on things, and mom and dad are saying, get on it. And the teacher says, you really are doing great. You just need to have a little more time management. Maybe the coach is like, I'm going to need to get you here on time. Hearing reinforcing messages is really important. Sometimes they just hear it better from somebody other than the parents in their home.
Yeah, okay. They say it takes a village, and in this day and age, we have to work a little bit harder for that because everyone's moving so fast. People live across the country, relatives, they might be there or not for whatever reason, and so you have to really work on building that community for a variety of reasons. Also, we know sleep, food, consistent care, they're essentials, but it's also hard out here right now. It can be hard for families to maintain because of financial stress, family instability, overwhelming schedules. I mean, anything can happen.
Yes.
But it's like those are the daily things that really help a child thrive.
Again, you're talking about those basics, and we know they are crucial. And we don't often connect them to mental health, right? So consistent sleep, having physical activity, being, engaged and curious, and having patterns, and those things also help predictability and calm with kids, which can help their mental health. So again, particularly as we kind of head into the summer, where sometimes folks are like, oh, schedules you don't want to vary them too much. Those building blocks are really important. And when there are stressors like financial stressors on food costs or gas or whatever those things might be, that's when you can also lean on your network and your community.
And I love that you use that word building blocks. They're the building blocks that are essential to creating a thriving environment for a child, a thriving child in an environment. You need those. My mother was a retired social worker. She was a social worker at Chicago Public Schools for 30 plus years. She's since passed, but she used to talk a lot about the first day of school and how the kids need that haircut to kind of get ready and prepare. And I feel like that's one of the smaller things that leads into the mental health of a child, so they have those building blocks.
Well, and how beneficial for you to be raised in that environment, you know, and to know that, because that's absolutely right. They need clues from all of us of how they are supposed to show up and how they expect to be received, right? So if you do get a new haircut, or you know, make sure that the first day of school is special, that signals this is an important thing for you to pay
It kind of builds, not to cut you off, I apologize, but it builds on the confidence of a child, which is why it is just so important, and creates that sense of belonging, which is important. We've talked about that. School can be an essential place of belonging for children.
It can be, and so can the after school programs, so can, you know, the faith community, so can any of these activities. So you want to make sure that it's not just one place or the other, but they feel like they are seen and heard at home and at school. And if they participate in an after school program or a before school program, whatever those things are, again, those adult connections can really make a huge difference. I know we talk about it a lot, but the reality is for kids, some of those adult connections and relationships are crucial to their academic achievement, their mental well-being, and their sense of value.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have some quick points that we're going to walk through here, and Tami's going to help hold our hands here, because you're saying that these quick tips can help adults build that sense of belonging for kids, and a lot of these are simple and shouldn't cost you anything, which is awesome.
Correct.
So first one, a family dinner without phones.
Put them down, put them down, but so that a child knows you're listening to them. You know, you want to make eye contact. You want to make sure that they know they have your full attention. Again, doesn't cost us anything other than modeling some good behavior.
Yes, you mentioned a mentor who keeps showing up, a coach who asks a second question, a teacher who notices a change in behavior. You're asking not only the community, I guess it's up to us as adults to be these people in the community, but asking your child to build relationships with people like this in their community.
It is. And as those coaches or those mentors, asking that second question, not just how are you doing, because particularly depending on the age group, you might get a fine or a shrug or whatever that is, but then saying, well, tell me what's going on. Tell me what's good about your day. Tell me what you've been struggling with. Those second, third questions are where kids, you know, even if they don't tell you right at that moment, if they don't, you know, they might not just open up and tell you everything in the world, but they know you're listening and they know you care about them.
To ask and to keep asking. She also mentioned a neighbor that knows your name. I mean, how many of us don't know our neighbors or haven't checked on them in a while, or you just give a hi and a bye and you've kept it moving? And it's like, no, this is the community that we need. We all need it.
I was going to say, and most people appreciate it, right? A little bit of outreach. And again, if you do that with your young son now, he will see what that means and see the response, and he'll feel like this is a good thing for me to do. And again, you're just building community.
I just checked on my neighbor, by the way, because I was like, where are you, girl? I have not seen you or the kids. She's been out of town for a couple of weeks already. I was like, well, where have I been? So usually we let each other know, you know, what's going on. Just those small little messages and text messages go a long way. But I mean, she's already been gone 2 weeks. I needed to know that. So we're trying to help young people feel included instead of invisible. So this, I think, is an important conversation. This is what the show is about, because I feel like we're kind of coaching parents on things that they might already know or might already see, but we need to talk about it so that you can be intentional in your parenting.
Absolutely, and making it concrete. You know, again, we can get so busy that you don't think about, oh, I'm just going to put my phone down during dinner, or I'm going to, let's go for a walk and check on a neighbor. Those are small things, and we can all do them, and we probably want to. But it's just sometimes getting that reminder and something really concrete that I'm going to check on 2 neighbors by the end of the week.
I love it. I love it. You all, Tami is with the Indiana Youth Institute. They work to really do everything that we just talked about to help children thrive in our neighborhood, in our neighborhoods, in our communities throughout the state of Indiana. So you can find more on the work that they do. They have a lot more studies and data and research and conversations happening. We have linked them to our website, WTHR.com/Parent Squad. Thank you, Tami, for being here.
My pleasure.
We've got more Parent Squad to come.